All right, boys, today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be recapping the Thursday night NFL debut of the Bills and the Rams, which was an absolute blowout that I was not expecting. But instead of just recapping this game, we are going to be going through making a best performances and worst performances for a select few players that I have in mind. Starting off with the best performances, I would like to give a shout out to the Buffalo defense, which as a whole had 7 team sacks against Stafford, especially Von Miller. I would like to give a major shout out to Von Miller. I think he had one of the best performances in the game. 4 total tackles, with all 4 of them being solo tackles, 2 of those being sacks, 3 of them being tackle for losses. I want y'all to keep in mind too that this Buffalo defense did not blitz once the entire game last night, and they still managed to sack the Rams 7 different times. So again, Von Miller had one of the best performances last night. Another standout performance last night on the defense, Greg Rousseau, again, 4 tackles, 4 solo tackles with the sack and a tackle for a loss, but just the way he was able to make pressure on the Stafford the entire night. Him and Von Miller were an absolute demon to deal with, and it was actually unbelievable. The next shout out I want to give to this Buffalo team is the Buffalo secondary, which I thought going into this game was going to get absolutely torched and demolished by Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, and also Allen Robinson going deep. But no, dude, this secondary came out to play, especially with rookie corners in the backfield. They had a total of 3 interceptions from Matthew Stafford, and just the way that they were able to play around these checkdowns that they were only giving Cooper Kupp to the entire game. Cooper Kupp, yes, he had a lot of receptions for checkdowns and a touchdown, but I mean, he's going to do that every game, and you're going to have to expect that. And overall, they didn't let Stafford throw inside the numbers. They didn't let Stafford go deep. They didn't let Stafford have time in the pocket. This defense was absolutely smothering for the Rams, and it was very impressive to see for Buffalo coming out. No real individual player for the secondary, just the secondary as a whole did great for Buffalo. Next best performance I want to give for Buffalo is, without a doubt, Josh Allen. Josh Allen had an incredible game last night. 292 yards on 3 touchdowns, with 4 total touchdowns, one of those being a rushing touchdown. Had 112 QBR, did throw 2 interceptions, but one of those interceptions wasn't even entirely his fault, because Isaiah McKenzie just dropped the ball midair as he was sliding to the ground and got it stripped away from him. So it wasn't really an interception by Josh Allen, but still, just incredible numbers for Josh Allen, having an unbelievable completion percentage as well. Great game for Josh Allen. And finally, the last best performance I want to give for Buffalo is Stefan Diggs. Gabe Davis played incredible too, don't get me wrong, but Stefan Diggs, 8 receptions on 122 yards and a touchdown. Most of that did come from that 53-yard bomb at the end of the game, but it was still an incredible touchdown. Diggs played an amazing game, absolutely mossing Jalen Ramsey every single time he got targeted the ball, and just overall, Diggs played incredibly. Now we go to the worst performances. For Buffalo, there's not really much to say. James Cook is one of them for sure. He only got 1 carry, and it was a fumble, and it forced the Rams to get the ball close to their goal line. So, I mean, you can't really blame him. It's a rookie quarterback going into, or a rookie running back going into a big game. It is what it is. Another one I would say is Zach Moss. He did have some decent runs to get some crucial first downs, but again, he did have a fumble and only 6 yards for 15 carries. Not the best in the world, but overall, from backup running backs that already are just crucial bridge players, they're not going to be really doing much of anything. Yeah, that's all the worst performances and best performances for Buffalo. Now we move on to LA here. I'm going to start off with the worst performances because there was not a lot good for LA here. So, number 1, obviously Matthew Stafford. Just an absolute horrible game for Stafford. Didn't come out playing good at all. Had 7 sacks. Just not good. What Stafford did last night was not good at all. And I don't exactly know why it came out the way it did for this game, but I just hope that they can figure something out quick. And hopefully get that offense back on track, because that offense did absolutely nothing last night. Second worst performance, definitely the offensive line for the Rams. The fact that the Bills did not blitz once and still managed to get 7 sacks on them, with Von Miller Von Miller played, I think, a little bit over 50% of the snaps. It might have been like 52. So he wasn't even in the entire game, and they were still getting clowned on. Just an absolute awful performance from the offensive line. Couldn't hold the Bills' defense, and Stafford was getting under pressure way too much. Yeah, just a terrible performance from the offensive line. The third worst performance, by far, Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey, I mean, you don't even see him on this box score here, but Jalen Ramsey allowed 100% perfect complete passer rating on every pass thrown his way. Diggs was making him look like a fool. He was getting torched. He was getting burnt. He was getting stop and go'd. He was getting sidestepped. Jalen Ramsey couldn't do anything last night. I don't know what was going on when he came to play, but I mean, this is the best cornerback in the NFL we're talking about, and he just got absolutely smoked, and I hope he can fix it soon, because I love Jalen Ramsey. I think the fourth worst performance, these aren't in order, by the way, I'm just going through players that I wanted to talk about. Cam Akers. I feel bad for a ton of fantasy managers who picked up Cam Akers. I was almost going to pick up Cam Akers, but there's a lot of times where DeAndre Swift or Javonte Williams were up for me instead of Cam Akers, so I'm going to pick them up because I think they're better fantasy running backs. But that's besides the point. Cam Akers, the biggest question mark of last night's game, in my opinion. Why did he only get 3 carries and have no play in the receiving game at all? What happened? Was it a training camp thing? Are they still worried about his ACL tear? What's going on with Cam Akers? He needs to get more snaps because he's going to be a breakout running back for the league this year, not just for LA. And yes, I get you were down most of the game. You can't really run the ball effectively. You need to start passing it more, especially when you're down 3 scores in the late third quarter. But still, dude, you got to get Cam Akers involved somehow, some way. Even if it's just in the blocking game. They didn't even block him much. Just a terrible, terrible decision from Sean McVay, I would say, to be honest with you. And yeah, Cam Akers didn't do anything. But I'm going to say Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald to put up these stats. Yes, I get you're playing against Josh Allen. He's going to run 9 times out of 10 on you and avoid the sacks, which he did for a lot of the game. Plus, their O-line was playing incredibly. But for Aaron Donald to have 2 total sacks, for Aaron Donald to have 2 total tackles, just 2 tackles the entire game, and 1 sack, that is pitiful. That is absolutely pitiful. Aaron Donald is, without a doubt, the best rush end in the league, one of the best D linemen in the league, if not the best D lineman in the league. And he only had 2 total tackles last night and 1 sack the entire game. I mean, I don't know what to say. Yes, Josh Allen was getting the ball out quick, but I mean, you got to do better than that, Aaron Donald. I mean, we all look at you as one of the best defensive players to ever play football, and you put up stats like that. I don't know. That's just my opinion on that. Now let's head over to the best performances for LA. Not really much to say here. Definitely Cooper Kupp. Obviously an incredible game. He's going to do this every game. 13 receptions for 128 yards and a touchdown. Amazing stats. Had a lot of targets. Just played really well for LA and was the only reason they were kept alive. And then finally, Darnell Henderson. Darnell Henderson had, for what their run game was last night and for what their offense was last night, to average more than 3 yards per carry and still get 47 yards. Pretty solid for Darnell Henderson. And we also didn't expect him to be the starting back, and here he is being the starting back. So I would say that's a W for him and a best performance for him. And that's all I got for you in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I still can't believe the Bills did this to the Rams this dirty in week 1. I thought the Rams were going to come out and put up a little bit more of a fight, but they got a lot to work on here. That's all I got to say there. They got a lot to work on here. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one.